All right, congratulations. You have made it to the last module in the budgeting section. Thank you for sticking with it. Okay, let's get into this. Budgeting, module number 5, budget to zero, and the 50-30-20 rule. Okay, up first, why budget to zero? What the heck does that even mean? Well, remember my emphasis all through these modules on all? That we need to incorporate everything? Well, that's what budgeting to zero means. That means that every penny of your income should have some purpose, that it should have some utilization, and that you should have nothing left over. Your income minus your expenditures should be a big fat goose egg. And we can split our expenditures into 3 groups. Now, remember, it's not 2. Remember how I kept on talking about fixed and variable? Well, we have another thing to consider when we're budgeting to zero and when I talk more about the 50-30-20 rule. So remember, we have our fixed expenses. Now, what's most commonly taught is that those fixed expenses, we can think of them as essentials. Or fixed. And we have variable or wants. And in our last category, we have savings. Now, why have savings as an expenditure? Well, you could make an argument for putting it somewhere else in here, have a different section. However, this is just one way to think about it, and we have to account for it in order to have a robust and efficient budget. And so that's why we have savings, in this case, as an expenditure. So the 50-30-20 rule. Like I said, we have our essentials, our wants, and our saving. And what that does is this 50-30-20 rule is simply just telling you how to allocate your budget from your income. 50% of your income should go to paying off fixed expenses. 30% of that should go towards your wants, eating out, dinner, and 20% of that should go to your savings. So if we look at our wonderful example, Jane Smith, remember her net pay is $931.61. Well, Jane, having taken the budgeting series, has a side hustle in which she earns $15 cash from walking dogs. Jane also knows, having taken this course, that the money that's been sitting in her car is not doing anything and really should be incorporated in her budget, which happens to be $3.39. A coincidence that it just happens to come out to $950. Wow. Okay, that was simply because I wanted to show you more additions to the income than just where you're working. So if we're following this 50-30-20 rule, this would suggest that of the $950 that Jane has to budget with, 50% of that, or 0.5, should go to her essentials, which in this case would be $475. Additionally, the 30%, or the wants, should be $285. And the savings portion, 0.2, should come out to $190. All of which add up to $950. No surprise there. However, we go through all of the different portions to this 50-30-20 rule. So, what about exceptions to the 50-30-20 rule? I want you to remember that the 50-30-20 rule is simply a general rule to get you started on your budgeting And that certain exceptions, like this one I have over here, 40, 30, 30. 40% goes to your essentials, 30 goes to that, 30 goes to saving, 50 goes here, 30, 20. There are an innumerous amount of different exceptions to the 50, 30, 20 rule. What happens if you're not paying as many fixed expenses, or in this case, essentials? Well, then you would have to adjust for that. I want you to understand that it's always a good idea to save more money if you can. And that smaller is sooner is better than larger later, which we go into in my next section of saving. So I hope that this was very helpful for you and that you're going to be able to utilize this. Up next, we have my savings portion. So stay tuned, and congratulations on finishing this budgeting portion. We're not done just yet.
My name is Rick Haskell, and I'd like to thank you for watching this installment in the Student Empowerment Series. This series was prepared by students in the Bill and Vieve Gore School of Business as part of our outreach through the Center for Financial Wellness. I'm a finance professor here at the college and director of the Center for Financial Wellness. We've prepared the Student Empowerment Series to assist students in important elements in their life and their progression through the college, part of their Westminster experience, if you will. In this series, we take a look at financing higher education. We look at budget, credit, and savings. And we look at some of the more important elements of adulting. We'd like to invite you to follow us on social media at our Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook sites. You're welcome to use the QR codes provided or simply go to this site. Thank you.